No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on into the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas. Let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. My name is BJ Rains, and this is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame shows. We get you set for Boise State and San Diego State in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West Tournament. At halftime, it's New Mexico leading 32-23 on San Jose State. I think I jinxed them there. We had San Jose State up 21-16. And then I sent out a tweet, with the eyeball emojis for San Jose. And ever since then, it's been a 16-2 run for New Mexico. But kind of interesting. I mean, we think Boise State probably needs to win the Mountain West Tournament to get in. But if, so that would be easier if San Jose probably won. But if you want to hold out hope for an at-large bid, you need that quad one win over New Mexico tomorrow night as well if you're Boise State. So you probably want New Mexico winning. But I'll tell you what. They've got a lot of fans here. New Mexico is just packing this place here. They've probably got, 7,000 or 8,000 fans. I mean, the upper level on both sides has multiple sections full. The whole bottom level seems full. I mean, it's not quite the pit, but it is going to be a home game for whoever they play tomorrow night. I will say San Diego State, similar colors, so some of the red may look like San Jose State, but the crowd has been very loud, very into the game for New Mexico today. So they'll have a massive advantage in the crowd over Boise State if they were to meet up tomorrow. So, guys, I hope you can hear me okay, and we'll take your score predictions. We'll take your thoughts, your comments. We're going to have Mark Zeigler from the San Diego Union Tribune join us. Abe Jackson is going to join us as well. We are not allowed to be out by the court while there's a game going on. So you can see we're in the concourse here behind us. We'll see if any drunk fans make their way over at some point. We'll be back up here for the post-game show also. So if you're in the arena or if you're in Las Vegas and come into the game and you want to come say hello on the post-game show and give us your thoughts on this game, we'll plug in an extra mic maybe on the post-game show and be ready for anyone that wants to jump on board. But you guys know it by now. So much at stake today in this game. Boise State, San Diego State, the loser probably for sure out of the NCAA tournament. The winner still probably has some work to do, at least definitely for Boise State. I mean, the bubble is not helping Boise State. I think North Carolina was up by about 10. I heard from Jaden that Xavier is up by about 10. So all the teams the last couple of days Boise State has needed to lose for the most part have won. Oklahoma coming back and winning yesterday with a big run. Some of the other teams as well. And so the bubble has not been kind to Boise State. And I think, unfortunately, you're in a scenario where Boise State may need to win the Mountain West tournament to find a way, to get into the big dance. So, this is going to be fun. We're excited for the pregame show here, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, as we get you set for Boise State and San Diego State, the quarterfinals of the Mountain West tournament, and it's going to be a good one. Magoon Guath, the update with him is it sounds like he is going to dress, he is going to suit up, and then we'll find out whether or not he is going to play, right about game time. I think San Diego State already knows. They've already worked him out this morning. They're not actually seeing how he feels during the pregame warm-ups. That decision had to already be made. So I would suspect that they know. They just don't want to say. He is going to suit up, though, but he has suited up for the previous game or two. So, we'll find out when Mark Zeigler joins us here in a couple minutes what that means. Porter saying, let's go, boys. He's also with me that he has a gut feeling Boise State's going to have one of their best games. I didn't say best games, but I do think they have a chance to win this one. Jake says emotionally invested to have an opinion on this game. Sounds like Jake is pulling for Boise State here. So jump on in with your comments, your thoughts, how you're feeling about this one. The YouTube chat's a little low. Folks must be working today or watching the other game on TV. But we would love to have your predictions, your Matt Boucher player of the game, your thoughts on this one, and we'll get you set for Boise State and San Diego State. But again, all eyes will be on Magoon Guath, whether or not he is able to play today for San Diego State. And he had 5 blocks, should have had 6. They didn't give him credit for one of them. He had 5 blocks in the last game. And I think as a team, San Diego State had 10 blocks. So a big storyline, as we talked about this morning with Jay Tuss, for me, is what is Boise State's game plan? Do they go in there, and try to just, even though Guath or Coleman Jones or all these guys have some length, Heidi, does Boise State go in there and still attack the paint like they do so well and get to the free throw line? Or do they have to settle for outside threes? And Boise State obviously is not a great outside shooting team. So I don't think that's very smart if Boise State were to have to just, start shooting threes left and right here. So very curious to see how this how the game plan is going to be for Boise State. Unfiltered KC says Guath's only going to play if he's really needed. San Diego State isn't going to lose this game if there's any chance he can play at all. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if he could play, they're not going to lose him sitting on the bench. But health-wise, if he's not ready, I don't think he comes off the bench. If he's healthy enough to play, I think you start him and get him out there. And maybe he's rusty. Who knows at this point, what the situation will be there. So Chris says, is Leon coaching for his job? I assume you're kidding there, Chris. No, not at all. He is not coaching for his job. They could lose this game and lose the first game in the NIT or the Crown Tournament, and they're not firing Leon Rice. I don't know where that notion continues to come from, but no, he could probably even have another bad year next year. Who knows? I don't think they're even thinking about that at this point. So obviously that's not what anybody wants to think about. They want to think about winning today, winning tomorrow, and getting to that championship game on Saturday. But Leon Rice, no, he's not in danger of any kind of coaching move with him in terms of switching the coach there. Mark Zeigler is on his way up from the San Diego Union Tribune. Again, here, these are the lines from earlier today. Boise State, a 2-point favorite over at Circa Resort and Casino. 2-point favorite for Boise State over at Circa Resort and Casino. You saw New Mexico, a 15.5-point favorite. They lead by 9 right now. Colorado State, 5.5. Utah State is -8. As you see the fans behind us, it is halftime, and we are located right next to the Dairy Queen. So a lot of folks are in line for some Dairy Queen here to get a Blizzard. Maybe something I may need to do on the way back down to the seats here. This will be a little shorter show than usual. Just letting you know. But I guess not shorter. We just have to get off earlier. We'll be off by about 1:50 or so. So we're going to have 2 guests join us, Mark Zeigler, and then our man Abe Jackson join us as well. But Chris has Broncos 70, San Diego State 63 is his prediction here. So get your score predictions in, get your thoughts in. Mark Zeigler going to join us in just a second, but you are watching a live show here from the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas, thanks to our great sponsors, including RoePaint.com, R-O-E Paint.com, our title sponsor. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, RoePaint.com. Taco Bell and the SON Management Group, TacoBellWorks.com. We appreciate them for their support. Check their website if you're looking for a job or if you want to get more information on the charitable giving efforts, including the $400,000 in student-athlete scholarships that they've committed to providing for Boise State men's and women's basketball players. The food's pretty darn great as well. It might be a Taco Bell night in the Raines family back in Boise tonight before baseball practice. Check out TacoBellWorks.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Tyson Degenhart, ICCU.com. And we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News, for helping make the Tyson Degenhart Show possible in recent years as well. And if Boise State does make the NCAA tournament, we'll have a show for you early next week before they depart. I think maybe Monday night, so stay tuned for that. But there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out online, ICCU.com. Appreciate Jackson's for their support as well. Jackson's, you can check out Jackson's 99-cent coffee anytime, any day or night at Jackson's. Get that 99-cent coffee using your Let's Go Rewards app. And, of course, when they score 70, you get a hot dog and a soda 2 days later at Jackson's. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. We appreciate them as well. Check out Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table, they got you covered at Snake River Pool and Spa.com. And our friends at the Blue and Orange Stores, we get ready to have Mark Zeigler on from the San Diego Union Tribune. The BlueandOrangeStore.com has you covered anywhere in the world. You can order Boise State gear and the official gear that the players and coaches wear. You can check them out online, theblueandorangestore.com, or just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there next to a Pro Image, and they've got you covered. The clearance rack there in the front of the store is one of the best values in town. The Blue and Orange Store, I saw Travis Hawks over at the Circa Sportsbook this morning. Travis Hawks staying at Circa, as many of our friends and followers are, and hopefully you are as well if you're watching this. If not, why not? Circa, the best spot in town. We are back, a live look here on the pregame show. By the way, if Boise State finds a way to win this game tomorrow, we'll be out by the pool at Circa tomorrow from 10 until 3. If you want to come join us, maybe 10 to 2 probably to be safe. 10 to 2 with the show tomorrow. We'll be live at 10 a.m. We'll have the pool party, and then we'll be hanging out with folks out there by the pool and having fun on a Friday if Boise State's getting ready to play in the semifinals of the conference tournament here. New Mexico is up 36-25. It's 36-25. New Mexico is up. I'm sure you guys probably have us on while you have it muted, I guess, on your TV there. But the spread was 15.5. New Mexico looks like they're in control now after a little bit of a scare. It was 21-16. San Jose was in the lead, but New Mexico has battled back with a big run to end the half. Looks like they're keeping that going here to start the second half. And you've got 36-25, the current score again, and San Jose State has they're on defense, I guess. Looks like New Mexico has the ball. So there went the light. Jaden, see if maybe we may have ran out of our battery on the light here. So, turn the light on there on the I don't know if I have the other battery with me. I think I may have put it in here. Let's see. We may be out of a battery here for the how about that? Live TV here. I don't think I have another. Oh, I do have another battery. How about that? We'll see if that works. We'll get another battery going here as Mark Zeigler is going to get set to join us. Our battery just went out on the light here. But you can see the fans behind us. Not surprisingly, the longest line in town is here at the Dairy Queen. So these folks are fine missing the game here to get in line at Dairy Queen. And I might be right there with them here pretty soon. Who's out for San Diego State? Well, we don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. I mean, you would think maybe Magoon Guath based on the line. But we'll see if Mark Zeigler has any insight for us. But Boise State favored by 2 in this game. I mean, it's not something you would expect. My wife's saying to get a blizzard here, unless that's my kids, but they should be in school right now. So may have to at some point here when the show ends. Since Dutcher became the head coach, postseason records, Dutcher 24-9, Leon 7-11. San Diego State doesn't lose quarterfinal games. Well, if you want to know the exact facts, they've won 18 in a row. San Diego State has won 18 quarterfinal games in a row. They have not lost in this quarterfinal round in the last 18 years. Pretty remarkable. Boise State on the other side has only made it to the semifinals 4 times in the 13 years of the Mountain West tournament here under Leon Rice. So certainly the history, the numbers, they are not with Boise State in this matchup. And then you look at, the last 2 times these two teams played, Boise State scored 47 points and lost to San Diego State. So a lot of signs pointing towards a San Diego State win here. And then you look at the point spread and you say, Boise State -2. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So maybe Vegas knows something that nobody else does, and we'll find out here. But Boise State is the betting favorite in this game, despite 2 losses to San Diego State during the regular season. And despite the history that we talked about in this tournament, Magoon Guath certainly is a key factor there, 7-footer in the paint there that can, and he's a good offensive player too. He was the defensive player of the year, but he can shoot threes, he can do things, and he's a future NBA player. So certainly, that's something that, Magoon Guath is going to be a big-time thing. Let's take a quick 30-second timeout, and then we'll have Mark Zeigler join us from the San Diego Union Tribune. 30 seconds here on Bronco Nation News Live.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, live here at the Thomas and Mack Center, continuing the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show as we get you set for Boise State and San Diego State in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West Tournament. Nice enough to make the long trek up here from Press Row. Our friend Mark Zeigler from the San Diego Union Tribune. Mark, appreciate you, man. How you doing?
Good. Glad to be here. Rough drive last night.
Oh, really?
There was a huge, unfortunately, a fatality on the 15 in the middle of the desert.
Oh, no.
At midnight.
Oh, no.
We closed it for 4 hours. I found an alternate route, but I didn't get in until 2:30. So
oh, no.
A little bit of adventure.
I heard San Diego State didn't come over till yesterday evening either.
Yeah, they practiced at home. That's
okay.
Pretty standard.
All right. Boise State came over on Tuesday, have the extra day here. San Diego State, Mark, you've been covering them for a long time. You have probably covered a win in this round ever since you've been here. They've, I think, 18 wins in a row in the quarterfinal round. Boise State, meanwhile, has only made the semifinals 4 times. True 2 opposite styles in terms of their history here in this tournament. 2 wins already this season for San Diego State. All signs you would think point to San Diego State, and then you look at the Vegas line on the boards, and Boise State's favored by 2. What do you make of this matchup here today?
I think it's really hard for San Diego State. I think that they're in this really, really weird space right now. They're kind of in the tournament. They're kind of not. They kind of need to win this game, but maybe they don't. And there's just so much uncertainty. They're saying all the right things. They're saying, like, we're treating this as a must win, but I don't know if they're really feeling that. And the history of this team all year has been, if they feel desperate, they're really, really good. You saw what they did at the beginning, first half to a decent Nevada team at home. They're up 39-13. You saw what they did to Boise State in Viejas Arena. They felt desperation that night.
Yeah.
You saw what they did in the second half against San Jose State. They're down 17, and it looked like, if they lose that game, they're out of the tournament. They came back and erased that lead in 4 minutes. But when they feel a little complacent, they're just so young, they're not very good. And so I have a feeling tonight's going to be kind of a nervy game for them. They're going to be nervous, and I don't think they're going to have that urgency that they've had in some other games down the stretch. And so I think Boise has an edge tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like I said, there's nothing that would tell you, looking at this matchup, that Boise State should win, and then you look at the Vegas line, and those guys usually know something that we don't know. Obviously, we'll get to the matchup, but Magoon Guath's status sounds like he's going to warm up and go out there. And they can say what they want. They know if he's playing or not already. They just don't want to say it. But, I mean, what's your take on Magoon Guath today?
Yeah, I from what I'm hearing, that he's going to warm up. It's going to be really close. I mean, he is progressing pretty rapidly from what looked like a serious injury. He's been doing a lot on the side in the parts of practice I've seen. He's shooting it really well. He's been handling it, but I haven't seen him, and I didn't go to practice yesterday, so I have not seen if he's been in a full live drill yet. And so that's the question. I mean, if he did yesterday, I know he got reevaluated yesterday morning by their doctors. If he got full clearance and a go and he practiced yesterday, then I think we'll see him today. But it's just so hard for me to believe that. knowing that he hasn't been practicing for the last 2 weeks.
But they've been playing pretty well without him, though, haven't they?
They have, and they made some adjustments. They started Miles Heide, which some people thought, well, why are you going to start him? He hasn't been having a great season, and he has completely turned the season around. He had one double-figure game in the first 25 games. He's had 3 in the last 4. He's made 17 straight shots, including a 3 in the last game. He's just a different player right now. And they've moved Jared Coleman-Jones, who does have 3-point range, kind of like Magoon Groth, to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've kind of covered there. They don't have the shot blocking presence inside, although they still do block some shots. I remember in the first meeting in Boise, San Diego State blocked no shots. So they've shown the capacity to beat Boise without blocking shots. But I just think having that extra body, you could avoid foul trouble.
Yeah.
And having just one more body out there and a little bit more length and versatility helps them.
And Boise State's not a great 3-point shooting team, so if they are kind of scared to go in the paint with Groth and have to settle for the outside, that's not a good recipe for Boise State. But I mean, it's an obvious answer, and he's been improving as an offensive player as the season's going on too. But if Groth, does or doesn't play, how does that change things for you in terms of this matchup?
I think it gives Boise a little bit more confidence if he doesn't play because of what happened last time. That gets in your head when you've had 10 block shots, and for every block shot, there's usually 2 or 3 others that are altered.
Yeah.
Or you don't take.
Well, we saw multiple block shots sitting press row that didn't. We see the block, and then the block number didn't change in the stat sheet. I think they had more than 10 in that.
Yeah,
game.
they might have had 12, 15. Yeah. I mean, somewhere in there. And Groth, I thought, had like 8 or 10. I mean, he was insane in that game.
He almost hit us in the second row with one of them, I think. Yeah.
But with Adam, I think it gives them more confidence to attack the post double when they come down and double team Degenhart, which they will. And they've done successfully, and he starts to rotate it. I think they can attack that and get to the rim. A lot's going to depend also on the whistle. Is it going to be a tight whistle? Is it going to be a loose whistle? San Diego State has had some foul trouble issues. They only really have 3 bigs right now. And the other thing to look for is if they don't have Groth, San Diego State has a small lineup that they used really successfully against Utah State to get back into that game after Groth got hurt.
Yeah.
And they basically go 4 guards and a big. They have not been able to play that since then because they've been playing teams that have good size. And so we'll see it probably tonight if Groth doesn't play.
By the way, San Jose State's made a little bit of a run here. I think an 8-0 run. They now trail 40-33 with 13:38 to go. And as I said, it's an interesting spot for Boise State here because I'm under the belief they need to win the tournament to get in, which probably means they would be rooting for San Jose to make tomorrow's game a little easier. But if you want to have the quad 1 win tomorrow, I guess, to try to get in at large, they probably need New Mexico to win. So we'll see. They got to get by, obviously, San Diego State here first. Alvaro Cardenas over his career has not played great against San Diego State. And I'm looking at some of the numbers here. He had 4 turnovers and 3 assists in the last meeting there when Boise State only scored 47 points. He was 3 of 8 from the field. And then in the game in Boise, he had 4 turnovers. I did have 6 assists, but 8 turnovers in the 2 games this year. I know, and going back to previous years at San Jose as well, that, that's obviously a big key for this Boise State team if you can slow down Alvaro Cardenas. And they've done a pretty good job, especially with that the way they guard the pick and roll and stuff at the top of the key. They've made life tough on him. That's going to be another key today.
Yeah, it's a really bad matchup for him because his whole thing is he likes to play off ball screens, either twist them, refuse them, get in the lane, get in that little pocket, draw a double team, and then it becomes a math problem. Then it's a 4-on-3, and he's the best in the league at finding the open person. What San Diego State does that no one else really does is they switch the 1-5 ball screen. So the center is going to switch out on him and just stays in front of him. And they drill that. They recruit to that. They're one of the few teams in the country that can do it. And it's why you don't see, there's some bigs that you're like, well, why did they go after him? And he doesn't move his feet well enough to do that. And so it really takes away, it's sort of out Cardenas's kryptonite. I mean, it takes away his great power. And he's 0-8 again. Yeah, he is 0-8 against him because he's 6 at San Jose State in 2 games with Boise. He's never beaten San Diego State. And his shooting, I broke it down. I wrote something about it after the last game. I think he's shooting 31% against San Diego State in his career and 43% against everybody else. So those numbers over 8 games, that's just not an aberration, and it's a bad matchup. But it was going to be interesting to me today is to see how they adjust to that because they know it's coming.
They said they're kind of being coy about it, and they said yesterday they're going to switch some things up. We'll see. He's actually shooting better from 3 lately. He's made 10 threes in the last 4 games, and he's kind of been way more aggressive in terms of pulling up, and because he was almost 40% at San Jose, and that was kind of went he didn't just shoot a ton because of everything else he did and the team they had, but they've asked him to shoot a little more from the outside, and he's been pretty good. But speaking of scoring, final thing or two for you. In the first game, Miles Bird went off for his kind of career high or season high, and then in the second game, it was Nick Boyd who went off for his big game there. Just what do you make of the matchups with the San Diego State guards and Boise State defensively? Somebody asked how they're going to try to play that today. Where was a question here? What do you expect from San Diego State's offensive strategy to look like? Are they going to focus on pushing the tempo or slowing things down, running more half-court sets? That guy must be wanting to know if they bet the over or not. But what do you make of San Diego State and their guard play?
Well, their guards are playing the best. All season they've had one that's played well, and a couple others haven't. And this is really the first time all season all three of them are clicking. And so that's the strength of their team right now. Nick Boyd is playing his best basketball. There's a stat that the sports information director drummed up about over the last month. He's averaging something like 17 points and shooting 50%, 38% from three, and assist turnover ratio is like 6-1. There's only one other player in the country that has that. That's Cooper Flagg, who might be the player of the year, national player of the year. That's how well he's playing right now. Miles Bird's been injured the last month quietly. He got an injection in his hip. That's really helped him. He had a badly sprained thumb on his off shooting hand, but it was affecting in rotation on his shot. That's kind of cleared up. He played really well in the last few games. And then BJ Davis has had this resurgence late in the season after a big lull in the middle of the season. He's playing well. So it's kind of a three-headed monster. It's not anything they're going to do special. It's just like you got to worry about three guys now. You don't have to worry about one.
Yeah.
And so I think if those guys all have big games, it'll be hard for Boise State. But, you just don't know. I mean, getting these tournaments and everything kind of goes out the window.
Well, final thing, Mark, and again, Mark Zeigler, San Diego Union Tribune. We appreciate you for joining us here as you're getting set for your coverage with the paper there. But just big picture, I guess, just your final thoughts on this matchup, what it means for both teams, and just your final thoughts.
I mean, I do think that Boise has to win it to have a chance to get in.
Yep. They got to get to Saturday, in my opinion. I think to have any kind of chance, I think they have to win 2 games.
Yeah, because if they don't get to Saturday, that means they would have lost Friday.
Yeah.
And then that would knock them back a little bit. San Diego State, if they win, they're for sure in. If they lose, I think it's probably a 60-40, 70-30 that they're still in, because the rest of the bubble is all losing. Indiana lost, Ohio State lost. And so I think their metrics and not so much their metrics, but their whole resume is very solid in terms of what the committee wants. They want a strong out-of-conference schedule. They played the 7th toughest.
And they got the name cachet. I mean, I do think that carries some weight.
I mean, this is the thing that's crazy. They're 7-2 in the tournament in the last 2 years, and both losses were against the national champion UConn, or as Dutch calls it, 7 in UConn. And I think that carries some weight. But I mean, you also got to win games that you're supposed to win, and this is one of those games. And so, if there are some bid stealers, particularly in this conference, I don't know if they're going to make it if they lose this game.
Well, they're not supposed to win in Vegas. I mean, they're underdog. It's crazy. I mean, I feel like if Boise State wins, it would be, in my mind, an upset. Yet they're the favorite in this game by 2 points. It's crazy to me. It is pretty crazy. Mark, appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll be seeing you press row here shortly.
All right.
We got Abe Jackson coming up shortly. Appreciate Abe for jumping on. Lithia Ford of Boise, LithiaFordBoise.com. We're going to get our man Abe Jackson in here, but if you need a vehicle, Lithia Ford of Boise, they got you covered. LithiaFordBoise.com. Those 2024s, they got to get rid of them on the lot here, so they're trying to make some great deals, some great specials, and if you're looking for a vehicle, you can go ahead and check them out at Lithia Ford Boise, LithiaFordBoise.com. Bauscher Real Estate, Matt Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. If you're looking for a home, want to buy it, you want to sell it, doesn't matter. Matt Bauscher's got you covered. I know everybody has 5 friends that are realtors in this town, but Matt Bauscher is ready to help you out, and he'll fight for you every step of the way. We'll pick our Bauscher Real Estate player of the game after the game, BauscherRealEstate.com, and Ridley's Family Markets as well. ShopRidleys.com. We appreciate their support. Check them out online at ShopRidleys.com. Download that Skip app as well. Good savings up to 40% off at shopridleys.com. We got our man Abe Jackson here. We had to angle the camera up a little higher. Abe, we're an hour or so away from tip-off here. The nerves starting to increase a little bit for fans all over the back in Boise certainly, and watching the show all around the United States. But always a weird feeling for guys, for us. You wake up today not knowing if it's changing your flight to tomorrow, or if you're staying to cover 3 games or 2 games. And when you get in this tournament, there's just something about waking up on game day.
Yeah, and just the pressure that comes along with it. I mean, really, the Broncos, the last 6 or 7 games, have been playing for their NCAA berth, and they're doing that again, even with the loss with Colorado State. I mean, you look at all the metrics, and Boise State's right there on the bubble somewhere. And so a win against San Diego State would be huge. And then, of course, you look forward. If you get that one against New Mexico, you're putting yourself in a pretty good position. But, yeah, it's exciting because so much is riding on just one game and the environment in there. I mean, I think New Mexico brought 8,000 people or so.
Maybe. Have more tomorrow probably as well.
There's 3 times as many New Mexico fans in there than there are for a UNLV home game during the regular season right now. So it's going to be a great environment. I think San Diego State traveled pretty well, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'll bet you even if they win today, for a noon Thursday game, they don't play till Friday at 6. I'll bet you plenty more Lobo fans will make the trek over in time for tomorrow's game. This tournament, though, San Diego State has won this quarterfinal round 18 years in a row and gotten to the semifinals. Boise State has only made the semifinals 4 times in the Mountain West tournament ever under Leon Rice in 13 years. It is what it is. Not trying to be doom and gloom, but I mean, they've not played well down here in Las Vegas in this tournament. San Diego State has. What do you make of just the history? I know it's new players, new season. I know you throw all of it out the window, but in terms of why do you think, have you noticed anything, just why over the years they haven't played well down here? Or
not really, not one specific thing of why, like, this is the reason why they're not playing well. I mean, the reason San Diego State, I think, has won so many is because they have been probably the best team in the league for the last 14 years too. I mean, you got the finals, of course, and then they are top 20 all the time. It seems like this year's a little bit different. San Diego State not as good as they have been. I mean, we say that, and they beat Boise State twice this year.
Yeah.
At San Diego was a complete blowout, not even close. But San Diego State, a different team. And then the question on everyone's mind, I'm sure you've touched on it, is Guath. The way that San Diego State runs their defense, totally different with Guath in there if he's not out there. So how Boise State would run their offense, I think, could be totally different too.
And it is unique. I think Boise State obviously has to prepare for Guath to play. And I think you psychologically get your players ready for him to play, so you don't run out there for warm-ups and you're looking and then you get dejected because you see him out there right before the game. So I'm sure they're preparing, telling him he's going to play 100%. But how do they run the offense differently? Because we've talked about it. This team is not a great three-point shooting team. When the last time you play him, you get 10 shots blocked. There may be a little hesitancy to want to go into the lane there, but it's probably not the best game plan for Boise State to just jack up threes all night.
No, and if you get 10 shots blocked, they probably also affected 5 or 6 that we know created misses. So there's probably 15 to 17 shots that were affected by some sort of shot blocker inside at the game at San Diego State earlier this year. But for Boise State, I think that shooting the three, it's important because they're not a good three-point shooting team, but you still have to do it. You can't do it at 24%. It was 24% against Fresno, 24% against Air Force, 24% against Colorado State. I'm putting in the number at 31%, which isn't fantastic. I mean, it's not great.
No.
But still, I think the way that this Boise State team can shoot twos and the way they get to the line and get points, I don't think you need a 40% night from three. You need a 31, maybe 32. You just can't have a 20 to 24%. So I think that three-point shooting is definitely the struggle this year, but also you're not asking it to do something totally crazy. You're asking it to do something that's actually probably not even at the average at 31%, but they do that, make a couple more threes than they did at 24%, and then I think you'll come out with a win.
But only 47 points, a season low last time they played San Diego State at Viejas Arena. And a lot of that is the block shots. It's 10 shots that can't go in if they're getting blocked. But I mean, they've got to find a way to score more points.
They do, and I think that's where you look at Guath being in or out. If he is out, there's nobody that San Diego State has that concerns me defensively one-on-one against Tyson. If Guath is in there, then of course there is going to be a concern.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's 43-35, by the way. San Jose State is kind of trying to hang around. Interesting game here, Abe, because if you're Boise State, you obviously want to win this tournament. You'd have a better chance to win this tournament if San Jose State wins this game. But if you want the quad one win to kind of help your at-large resume, you probably want New Mexico to win.
Yeah, I think if you're asking me at this point right now, I would take a San Jose State win against New Mexico, because then if Boise State wins, you got to go through the Spartans, who I've always said in a tournament setting, it's not the first game, It's not the second game, but it's the third game where fatigue kind of starts to set in.
Yep.
3 games in 3 days, and San Jose State will be on their third game in 3 days if they do win against New Mexico. They are down by 11 right now.
Yeah, 3-pointer for New Mexico there. Abe, rebounding obviously is going to be a big one in this game. In the first meeting there in Boise, San Diego State got a ton of second chance points, a ton of second offensive rebounds. Boise State did a better job on that the second time. It didn't matter because they didn't hit shots and couldn't score. But obviously, I think rebounding and controlling the glass and not giving extra possessions to San Diego State is going to be huge.
Yeah, that definitely will be. And again, it really centers around one guy for San Diego State. I mean, when you have a 7-footer that can shoot the 3, block shots, and also rebound inside, I mean, they're a completely different team without him. They are a purely guard-oriented team without Guath inside, which I think the Broncos can handle a little bit better than an athletic, long 7-footer inside. So when the warm-ups are going, everyone's eyes are going to be out there. I'm sure you're going to be sitting there watching.
Apparently, they've already said he's going to at least go out there and warm up, but that doesn't mean he's going to play.
Right.
So, I mean, he warmed up in one of the previous games, I guess, against Wyoming to finish the regular season. So it sounds like he's going to warm up, but I mean, they already know. They
have made a decision, but it's smart on them. Don't let anything out about this, not only for Boise State, but also the NCAA committee. I mean, they're in the NCAA tournament right now with Guath. They are a totally different team without him. So it'll be really interesting, and just how different the attack, I think, is going to be if he's in there and if he's not. If he's not in there, I could see Degenhardt going off for some a big night. But if he is in there, then I think you got to get that 32% shooting threes.
Tyson Degenhardt, again, 31 points away from tying the record, 32 from breaking it. So that'll be something we'll be monitoring in this tournament. But Alvaro Cardenas, senior, comes over here for this moment to have a chance to win this tournament and have a chance to go to the big dance, as a senior. And here it is. After all year, it comes down to, this is why he came here. And he's obviously played so well down the stretch, but he has not played well in his history against San Diego State. 0-8 in his career. And, this year in particular, I think has 8 turnovers in the 2 games. So what do you make of, I know Mark Zeigler was just saying that the way they do the ball screens and stuff at the top of the key and switch, they just made it a little tough for Al. But how do you see Alvaro trying to just not do too much? And why do you think San Diego State gives him trouble?
I think that's one of the things is for him not to do too much, because I feel like in the last couple games that Colorado State, in Air Force, really in Fresno too. Now, granted, 2 of those were wins. I think there was a few ill-advised shots from Al that we haven't seen really earlier in the season. Some step-back threes. He might make 1, but I think he takes like 3 or 4 during the game. And so sometimes the shot clock's winding down, but I think really just staying within yourself in trying to keep all your momentum going forward off those ball screens. Boise State uses so many ball screens, and when New Mexico or San Diego State doubled them, especially at the pit or at Viejas, his momentum turning that corner would go away, and then all of a sudden your momentum's going away from the hoop. You got 2 guys on you, and that's what can create turnovers. So I think just keeping your momentum going toward the hoop somehow.
This team, though, these seniors, Omar, Tyson, the game against Colorado State wasn't good, but they've, for the last month, only 2 losses, played well. I mean, in terms of just the momentum going into the tournament, what do you make of just the way it ended on senior night with the loss and obviously trying to put that behind them?
Well, you got to bounce back, and that's one thing that this team has done really all year long. It's rare to see a Coach Rice team drop 2 games in a row, and it's rare definitely to see this team do it. So I think the Broncos need to come back and win this game, of course, or they're going to be looking at a different postseason than the NCAAs. But what an opportunity for the Broncos. You got an opportunity for a great quad win here, and then if New Mexico hangs on and you can get them, I mean, you're looking at 2 great wins going into the Mountain West Championship game, and then whatever happens in that game, I mean, of course, you win, you're going to be there, but if you lose after those 2 wins, you're going to be right there in the conversation for an at-large.
And, I mean, Boise State's favored in this game. It's crazy. I mean, we've said for a couple of days that the fans are very pessimistic. The numbers don't necessarily tell you should feel great about this game, but somebody knows something somewhere. I mean, Boise State's
right.
Favored. That part is very interesting to me. Abe, final thing. We'll let you get back down to the broadcast here. In about 20 minutes, you can hear Abe and Bob. Are you guys would it be an afternoon game? Do you know which you are? Just the AM side, probably both sides. I'm not sure.
Don't know.
670 KBOI.
You got 2 choices. You can just go to one and go to the other.
Yes. By the way, ever since I wrote off San Jose, they're on another little run here. They've cut it to 6 with 8:28 to go. But just final thing, your thoughts, your keys. What's your gut telling you about this one too?
Well, I like the Broncos in this one. I think they're going to shoot better from 3. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be in the high 30s, but I think they get to that low 30s, the 31 or 32%, and that's what they need because they're going to score their 2-pointers, and then they're going to get to the line and get some free throws. So I think a lot of it, what comes down to, is shooting the 3, but then what can you do inside? What can you get with points in the paint if Guath is playing? If he's not playing, just pound it in there. I think one of the keys to
Coleman Jones, none of those guys really worry.
Not with Tyson. Yeah. No, Tyson, no. And then the only person really I think on the help side is Bird, who can affect some shots. He's a long, athletic guard. But what I also think is that whoever Guath is guarding, if he plays, maybe take him outside a little bit and then post up somebody else and then make a quick move. Don't let him come back into the paint and try and affect the shot. If Buchanan or Stanley's in there not being guarded by him, go into them and just tell them, make a hard, quick move to the hoop, because if you take a lot of time, Guath's going to work his way back down, then he's going to affect those shots.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And why don't we say about 5 o'clock tomorrow? We try to plan to do this again.
Right here.
That'd be fun. Fun next 24 hours if that can happen. San Jose had 3 chances. They missed them all, and then New Mexico scored. So they just need to keep it within 15, I think, and some will be happy. That's the number.
Some will be happy. Is that it? Okay. Some, right? Some people.
Appreciate it, Abe.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, Abe Jackson, appreciate him for joining us as always. We also appreciate Lean Feast. LeanFeastMeridian.com. You can check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com is the website. Steak, shrimp, chicken, fish, you name it, they got you covered. Our friends at Lean Feast, a lot of healthy eating options, and I'll be getting back on that train when we get back to Boise here in the near future. And transportation compliance service. Every step of the way, they can help you get into the trucking industry. They're ready to help you out. Transcomservice.com, a new career that maybe you haven't thought about the trucking industry. Well, you should. And transportation compliance service can help you out. Again, transcomservice.com. We want some voicemails. Speakpipe.com/BNN. We'll keep the party going after the game. If you're in the arena, you can come hang out with us on the post-game show. We'd love to chat with folks. We will, just as a programming note, folks, start the post-game show about an hour after the game. It is going to take us some time to do all the interviews, press conferences, and things. We will have a nice long post-game show, but it will probably be about an hour or so after the game ends here at the arena. But leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/BNN. It's courtesy of Signature Roofing. Covering our community for more than 2 decades, mysignatureroofing.com is the website. You can check Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an inspection, an estimate, they got you covered. mysignatureroofing.com. We appreciate all of our great sponsors that make these shows free of charge for you guys to watch. So if you get a chance, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe on Facebook, on X, and of course, $50 gets you a full year subscription, BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you and your support of this one. Any final score predictions? Let us know what you got, who you got winning this game. Any final thoughts, final score predictions? Again, 48-40. New Mexico is up with about 6-7 minutes to go in that game, and Boise State will take the floor about 30 minutes after that game. Oh, I didn't know it was Nate Kreckman that I was having to get off the air for. Oh, man. I agreed to – Nate, can you give me 1 minute, one thought here, Nate? Come on. I got to get off here, and I'm going to make Nate Kreckman give me one thought on this game since I'm forced to be off in 5 minutes for him. But Nate Kreckman, all kidding aside, scoot in here a little more, Nate. One of the voices of the Mountain West, Nate Kreckman.
Hi, BJ.
You do a tremendous job. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy.
More importantly, we're both friends with Mike Sanford. Well, maybe you don't want to consider yourself a friend.
I'm more of a frenemy of Mike Sanford.
Okay, we're work acquaintances, yeah. But I know you work with Mike and do some stuff in Denver there, and he does some stuff on BNN. So we had him first, and you guys are kind of stealing him from us. But he does a tremendous job.
You should have hung on to him. Yeah, he's on his way, man. He's going places. He's the head coach at Valor Christian High School.
I know, and he's going to go. He's going to go all. Doug Gottlieb.
He's getting
keep his media going.
Sweet private school money, man. Yeah.
Tell us about this matchup. What are you thinking? San Diego State, Boise State coming up here.
It's kind of a large game, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Guess kind of need this one today, huh?
Yes.
This is the biggest game of the tournament, BJ, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this, but this is like the one. It feels like play-in-ish almost. I saw Boise's on the first 4 outline. San Diego State is on the first 4 in. Colorado State is hanging on the first 4 outline. So this is a really big night tonight here at the Mountain West tournament. And the question here is, by the way, and I haven't been on Twitter in the last hour. Do we know about Magoon Guath?
He's supposed to he'll be warming up, but that doesn't mean he's playing.
Okay. Yeah. Well then, basically, here's my analysis. I love Boise if he doesn't, and I like San Diego State if he does. There you go. That's overly simplified. I love that Boise team, though. Yeah. Andrew Meadow, I just walked by him. I almost got kicked by him down in the tunnel. They were doing the swingy leg thing down there. I almost took a foot to the face from him. But I love Andrew Meadow. Tyson Degenhart, I refer to him as Mountain West legend Tyson Degenhart. And I don't even know if that does him justice.
He's the second Mountain West player ever to be 3 years in a row first team all-league.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
And Cardenas, what a score.
Yeah.
Leon Rice, man, that guy is just cooking. He knows what he's doing. But, yeah, my oversimplified analysis is it's about Guath.
Okay.
That's simple.
We'll leave it at that, man.
Yes.
We'll get out of here and let you get ready for your show.
Hey,
Appreciate
thanks,
you
BJ.
for letting us take your internet for a little bit here. And
thanks for letting me take over your show.
Great job on the women's coverage. We're Boise women were giving UNLV all they wanted in that
really
quarterfinal game. I was watching that.
Changing of the guard in women's buckets in the Mountain West. How about Stacey Terry Hudson going to the NCAA tournament? Huge. You knocking off UNLV.
Triple overtime last night.
Unbelievable. That thing just wouldn't end. San Diego State, though, was the better team. They deserved to win. It sounds weird to say in a triple overtime game, but Wyoming was on their heels, so the right team won that game.
Well, appreciate you, Nate. Nate Kreckman does a tremendous job. Appreciate him coming on. They've called the timeout here. It's now a 12-point game. New Mexico kind of pulling away. So appreciate you guys for checking us out again. If you can subscribe, BNN 50 deal. We'd love to have you. $50. BNN 50 deal is that website or promo code. Subscribe. We'd love to have you join us, and you can read Mike Prater, Nathan Carroll, myself, all of our exclusive content, and again, you help us with shows and things like this. So enjoy the game, everybody. We got to get off due to some rules here and letting the internet go to Nate Kreckman here. We'll have a post-game show coming up again about an hour after the game. Give us an hour after the game or so. We'll do all the interviews, exclusive content. We'll come back on the post-game show and break this game down. So again, if Boise State wins, we'll have our pool party tomorrow over at Circa. If Boise State wins this game here in the first round, join us tomorrow 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. over at Circa for the pool party, and looking forward to that as well. So enjoy the game, everybody, and hopefully it'll be a positive post-game show. We'll talk to you guys here in a couple hours. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.
If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it. If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.